money got longer, speaker got louder, car got faster. Turn to a silence.
Yo, what's up YouTube? Back today with another video. I know I had my mock draft out yesterday, but today I wanted to get you my 2017 NBA big board. Haven't done this yet, so it might be a little bit shaky, but let's get this started. First, on my 2017 big board, I have Markelle Fultz. Easy #1 player, easy first player on the big board, easy first player off the draft. This man's amazing. This man averaged 25, 5 and 5 in college. Basically, he is a good playmaker, has a high assist to turnover ratio, can grab rebounds for you, can push the break, shoot. He can do everything on the court that you want him to. He's a good defender. He's just a good overall player, and the Celtics will be lucky if they get him, and they'll probably trade the pick, honestly, but whoever ends up with this man is going to be very happy and is going to have a future NBA star. Alright, next player on my big board. Not used to this yet, sorry about that. But I have Josh Jackson, easy #2 player. Most people would say Lonzo Ball. I really do like Lonzo Ball as a prospect. I think he's a great player, but I don't think that he's the #2 player. He has some scoring inefficiencies. He can just have an offense that can be kind of stagnant in a half-court setting. He is not a great isolation player, and he has a few flaws. He's not the best defender. He can kind of like get lackadaisical and won't be the best with guarding his man. And I think Josh Jackson can potentially be an all-around great player on both ends of the court. I think that he can be like Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler kind of player. And I think that he could just be a great two-way forward that shows a lot of potential and that can just develop into a 20-25 point scorer that can lock down the other team's defender, which is exactly what every team in this NBA needs. Don't get me wrong, I like Lonzo Ball, but I don't think he's the #2 player in this draft. I think that he's #3 player. And let me explain. I believe Lonzo Ball is a great player. He's a great passer. He's a great transition player. He is probably the best in the fast break in this class. He can receive alley-oops, he can pass, he can find the open man, he can do anything on in the open court. He's like Magic Johnson, just so quick, so fast, can get out in the break, can pass to anyone, has that perfect outlet pass. He probably learned that from that Chino Hills offense, which is just throw it up, someone cherry picks in the backcourt, very fast pace, steals, heavy pressure pressure, and they try to get a lot of turnovers, so I believe that he got it from there. But Lonzo Ball is a great prospect. I think he'll be more like Jason Kidd than he is anything. I believe that he'll be like a great passer like Magic, Steve Nash, John Stockton, Rondo, Jason Kidd, any of those players. He'll be just like them, and I believe that he can be great in the NBA. I just need to see that he has the ability to score in the NBA, especially with that kind of wonky jump shot that he has, that has kind of that weird offhand and that his elbow sticks out really far. Like, I just need to see that he'll be able to score with that, and then I'll move him up on my big board. But for now, he's going to stay here. Alright, next player is Jayson Tatum. I think these are the top 4 consensus players: Tatum, Ball, Jackson, and Fultz. And I think that you could do it in whatever order, but I really like Jayson Tatum. I just didn't want to move him above any of those top 3 players just because I really like them too. But I think Tatum could be a great scorer in the league. I believe that he could be kind of like I want to say like Carmelo Anthony, Paul Pierce kind of player, just like that guy that can go out and get you 20 plus every night for a whole season, can carry your team, but has to be like a second option. Can't really be your first best player if you want to be a title contender. But I believe this man's really good. He can do a lot of things in the NBA court well, and I believe that he will develop and just become a great overall player, and that he can just turn into a player that you could have in a franchise that would just be there for 10 years and produce every single year you have him. That could just potentially just be a multiple-time All-Star, multiple NBA player, maybe win an MVP, maybe, question mark, who knows, but I really do like Jayson Tatum, and I believe that he can be a great player in the NBA. Next player is one of my favorite players in the draft. A lot of people seem to be sleeping on him. A lot of people don't like him. I've heard a lot of people on YouTube and ESPN and all these websites talk trash about him, say he's not good, say he's not worth a pick, say he's not worth a top 5 pick. I believe he is. Malik Monk is a great scorer. He can drop 30 any given night. He's kind of like a J.R. Smith, Klay Thompson. Like, I'd put it in between there, like right in the middle. He's a great spot-up shooter. He can do a little bit with the basketball. Like, he's kind of that awkward 2 guard that can handle the ball really good. He's kind of like a Dion Waiters that can isolate, get you a bucket anytime you need him to. He's not a great defender. He is not a great rebounder. He doesn't do a lot of things well. He's a decent passer, but I think his scoring ability is just so amazing, and I think that he can average 20 plus in this league. Like, I don't see why not. He is refined in all of his offensive areas. He is just a great overall player, and I don't understand why people are hating on him. I understand that he's a terrible defender, but when you have an offensive talent like this, you have to take him early in the draft. Alright, next player on my 2017 NBA big board, we got Frank Ntillkina. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Forgive me if I messed it up, but I really do like Frank Ntillkina. I think that he can be a great guard in this league. He can be a great defender, just a great all-around player. I don't know much about him because I've watched much of his film or any of his highlights really. I've only seen like a couple of like snippets, but from what I've heard, I think that he could be a great defender, great like ball handler, great, just like a great overall player. Like, he can command your offense. He can command a lot of command a lot of different plays. He can do like almost everything on the offensive end. He's a great defender. He's a great all-around player. Kind of like I would say Chris Paul with less passing ability, but I just think he could be a great player for whatever team drafts him, and hope the best for him. Alright, some of you may be mad that I have De'Aaron Fox so low on my board. Sorry, I just like a lot of players better than I like him. I don't hate De'Aaron Fox, don't get me wrong. I love him as a prospect. I think he can be a great player in the NBA. I just had to put a couple players above him just because I believe their talent level was better than his. But De'Aaron Fox is an amazing player. He needs to work on his jump shot. He needs to work on a couple things, but he's great at attacking rim. He's great at his mid-range game. He has a lot of like polished not trick shots, like just scoop layups and floaters and fadeaways and stuff like that. He has a lot of tricks in his bag, and he can do all that. So I believe that he's a very polished player. He destroyed Lonzo Ball in the Sweet 16 tournament game. He just went off for 39, something like that, which definitely boosted his draft stock up a couple places. But he can be a great defender in this league. He can be a great scorer, and I believe that he can be a great player in this league. I really like him as a prospect. I just had to put a couple people above him just because I believe they had more talent. But I love De'Aaron Fox as a prospect. Alright, next player on my 2017 NBA big board, we got Johnathon Issac, forward from Florida State. And I believe that, I don't know what to think about this prospect here. I've seen his tape. He averaged 13 and 7 and I think 4 assists, I'm not sure. But he was an overall very inconsistent player last year. He had some great games. He had some flashes. He didn't have some flashes. He'd show that he could do something on the court, and the next game he'd have, she'd show he could average 7 rebounds. The next game he'd have 4. I don't understand this man. He could be a shooting guard. He could be a small forward. He could be a power forward. He could be all these positions. He ran some point at Florida State. I don't think he'll play point in the NBA, but they might run him as a point forward. This man has a lot of talent. I just need to see him be able to hone it into just a certain way where he can just use it for good, or good for his basketball team. I just want to see him be able to be a good player in the league and show that he can be a consistently good player every year. He's kind of like a Lamar Odom kind of player. Like, that's the only good comparison I can think of him. He's a very different player. Like, if you ask someone to compare him to someone, just say himself, because he's a once-in-a-generation player. Next player on my 2017 NBA big board is Lauri Markkanan. Sorry if I mispronounced that name, kind of hard. But I believe that Lauri can be a great player in the NBA. He's like one of those new generation stretch four kind of players. He can do a lot of things in the basketball court. He was pretty good at Arizona. I think that I want to try to defer from like talking about future teams they could go to, but I think a perfect fit for him would be Dallas. He could learn from Dirk. He could refine his skills. He could just learn and be better than he already is. But I think Lauri is kind of like Kristaps Porzingis from the 2015 draft and Dragon Bender from last year's draft mixed together. Like, he's kind of that stretch four kind of player that's really good, but you don't know what he's going to be until he comes in the NBA. So I really like Lauri as a prospect, and I think he should go to Dallas. Just saying. Sorry if you don't love the Texas Longhorns, but I do. Hook 'em horns. Jarrett Allen is not the next player on my big board. He's about 13 or 14. But I just love talking about this man. He's a great player, and I hope he does well. But Jarrett Allen is a very refined post player. He needs to work on a couple things in the post, but his post moves go in. They don't always look the best, but they go in. He's a decent mid-range shooter. He's stretched out to the three-point line, even though it's not going in. I like him attempting them. I like him trying them. I like him getting used to them. That just means he'll be more able to adjust to the deep two-point shot in the NBA and maybe stretch out to the three-point line. On defense, Jarrett Allen is a monster. He can move his feet very well for a big man. He can just shuffle around the court, slide over, get weak side defender blocks. He can come up. That's my mistake. He can come over from the weak side and get blocks. He can just be a great defender. He's a great paint protector, and I think he'll have to transition into kind of like a NBA 4, because I don't know if he has like the body size or if he's big enough or tall enough to be a center in the NBA. But I really like what Jarrett Allen can do in basketball 4, and I think that he can be a great player, just like Miles Turner was a couple years ago. And I believe that he is deserving of a lottery pick in this year's draft. So that concludes my 2017 NBA Big Board. Let me know if you want me to do this again. It might change up in the next few weeks, but you can expect a mock draft coming sometime next week. And I'm out. Peace. If you made it this far in the video, I'd like to appreciate you for watching the video. And I'd like to say subscribe, please. It really helps me out a lot. It makes me know that y'all want to see more content. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm out. Peace.